Hi, it's Brenda again, and we are going to touch base a little bit more on our previous video. Now that you are having your spiritual awakening, you are probably wondering, what is the next step? How do I enhance this? How do I take it to new levels? How do I become this person that I know I'm supposed to become? And those are all great questions. And when you look online, you see connect with your inner self, connect with your higher self, and let go of your ego. And that is all great, lovey-dovey hippie stuff, which I'm all in, for. But it didn't clarify anything for me on what I was supposed to do. And I'm not an egotistical person, so I struggled with how in the world to let go of ego. I ended up with more questions than I had answers. So I did what I normally do, brainiac that I am, and I started to dig for information. I had to read a lot of books and did a lot of Google searches. I not only researched facts, but I researched inside myself for guidance. I reached out to the physical world for help, and I started to do things like receive acupuncture. I began to clean up my diet and started eating raw, unprocessed foods. I was reading and researching all things metaphysical. I started to really research Eastern medicine and holistic ways. I even began to meditate daily and began to try and raise my vibration or energy levels, and we'll go into that in another video also. But I started to really retrain my brain on how to react and think more positively. I had to just become so open-minded to any and everything to find my truth. And it all started to work. As I started to do energy work and became more aware of my body, I found things like crystals gave off an energy vibration. And I started to use these to protect myself from unwanted energies. But I found as I started my journey in my awakening that I became a very empathic person. And so some people's very negative energies were literally just draining me. So I kind of had to reach out to everything out there. But again, very open-minded. So when I started to read books on spirituality, like the Law of One books, I started to research other people also, like Steve Jobs, and he was so creative and innovative, and I wanted to know what he read. And I found out that one, he was a very spiritual person, and two, when he died, he gave out a book called The Memoirs of a Yogi at his funeral. Again, great book. And I started to realize his spiritual path and how he and so many other really great people seemed to have figured out that there was way more out there than what we ever thought there was. So I started to open myself up. I began to learn acupressure. I became a yoga instructor and a Reiki healer. I then started to envelop myself in the world of Eastern medicine. It came down to this. If it was out there, I tried it. I was determined to find my path on my spiritual awakening. And while I took something valuable and great from every single thing that I tried, it came down to this. My path to spiritual enlightenment happened when I connected with my inner self, my higher self, and let go of my ego. So, maybe I can help you do this in a less confusing way, because I feel I went in circles and took the longest path possible. So let's start with connecting to your inner self. I have found personally that meditation connects you with your inner self. Your pineal gland connects you with your higher self, and your ego is your need for control. Of course, you can go into this into much greater depth, and there are people who will not agree with me or how I have simplified this down. But to me, this was the easiest way to get a start in understanding the three, Although in this video, we are only going to talk about meditation and ego because I find that connecting with your higher self and your pineal gland comes with a little practice for meditation. So let's get started. In your spiritual awakening, you're going to find that people tell you two things. That meditation is the key to the non-physical, and that diet is the key to the physical awakening. And I find this to be true. But first of all, I'd like to start with meditation and advancing your spiritual awakening through meditation, because it is probably the strongest and fastest way to reach your goals. In my belief, spiritual awakening is more than just knowing that there is something else going on out there, but it is also understanding that we are part of a collective consciousness, that we are all connected. I believe it is our responsibility of our collective consciousness to grow and move forward. And meditation is a wonderful way to do this. Most people ask if there's a right or a wrong way to meditate, and the answer is no. There's no right or wrong way, period. I don't care what anybody tells you. I can help guide you on how to meditate, but you're going to have to find your own way. And you will find that the person next to you will do something completely different. You can meditate sitting down, you can meditate lying down, you can even meditate while running. There is no wrong way to do it. It is my belief that meditation happens when you turn your thoughts inward. When you take a few moments to stop living in the physical world and to start to acknowledge the non-physical world, the inner world. Meditation, for me, is the act of slowing down my brain and living in the moment. For me, meditation starts with a few really good deep breaths, and then I close my eyes and clear my brain and clear all the worries and all the thoughts that consume my day. After a few moments of really deep cleansing breaths, I just focus on the black behind my eyes, because that's all I see is black. There's nothing there. And every time a thought comes popping in, or something that I need to do, or any of my responsibilities pop in, I literally just take my hands and I swipe them away, like windshield wipers, washing away the rain. Just push them out and don't focus on them. Go back to the black, go back to that very calm, centered nothing. If you can do this for 90 seconds a day, you will find shortly you'll be able to do this for 5 minutes a day. And before you know it, 5 minutes turns to 20, and 20 turns to 40, and 40 to 60. And before you know it, you have mastered centering your minds. We will go into advanced meditation at a later date, which will include connecting with your higher self. But for now, let's just start with good old meditation, 60 to 90 seconds, and keep going. Our goal is to be able to meditate for 15 to 20 minutes a day. I'm the first person to tell you that at first. Yeah, I did that, but now I don't meditate daily like I should. But once you've got the hang of meditation and taking that moment to center yourself, it gets easier and easier and easier. Also, there are great apps out there that help you learn to meditate. Try and download a free one. Anything helps. The second most important thing to learn in your spiritual awakening is to let go of your ego. What does that mean? Most people think of the ego as self-esteem or self-image or self-importance. While all of this is correct, I have also come to learn that it is also the part of the mind that mediates between conscious and subconscious. The ego, as you, is a conscious thinking subject. The ego is a tether that holds you to the physical world and can stop you from transcending into a higher dimension or plane. Your ego manifests itself as control, or the inability to let go, or your need for a specific outcome. your ego can then manifest negative things such as worry, hate, anger, jealousy. It can make you hold grudges. The best way to let go of your ego is to focus on letting go of your need for control or your need for a specific outcome. It helps to focus on gratitude, empathy, love, anything positive. I also found it helpful to train my brain to be non-judgmental when dealing with the ego. Transforming your ego from a controlling you to one that leans towards love is the goal. In my opinion, you can never be rid of your ego, but you can control how your ego acts. So, that being said, I found I had a huge ego. I didn't think I had one at all. But I had a fear of outcomes not being what I needed them to be. And when it happened, I didn't know how to react. I actually reacted horribly every time. For instance, a schedule that just had to be kept on schedule that whole day. And if it didn't, my whole world was about to end. And that was me. And things like traffic would hold something up and I just couldn't deal with those outcomes not being what I wanted. And I realized that's my ego. So then I started to kind of look inside myself and think, where else do I have ego that I didn't think that I had it? And I had it in a lot of places. You couldn't fold my towels because they had to be done a specific way, and that was control. And my mind, the way my ego reacted, I found that I took pride in things which were great to do, and pride's a great thing to have, but pride's not a great thing to have when it turns into ego. And so when you walk into the room and you think to yourself, oh wow, there's all these people here, these are my colleagues, and I wonder, am I better than they are? That's ego. You have to learn to let go of those things and let go of control. So take a few moments and really look inside yourself, be honest and truthful, and think to yourself, what is my ego and how can I manage it? So we have learned two things today. First is to meditate, and second is your ego and how to lessen it. I again suggest downloading a meditation app if you need. If you are a little bit more advanced in meditation, then yay, I love it. But if you're not and you need help, please feel free to comment below and I will get you any resources I possibly can. And again, with ego, comment below any questions that you might have and we will work together as a community to answer them. So like these pages, like my videos, and let's keep them coming.